Jingle jingle friends! Welcome to Holidays at Harmony Hills Home and Garden. I'm Jenny and we are making faux candy today for my Candyland themed Christmas tree. Come with me and let's figure out how to make these faux treats for the Candyland theme. To make the faux donuts, I'm using this Creatology brand of air dry clay. I got this at Michael's, and they also had the Model Magic by Crayola. And I used the Model Magic on some other projects, but this one, this Creatology clay, is really wet and gooey and stringy. And I should have kneaded it for a longer time. I only did about 30 seconds worth of kneading on this. And what that meant was that it didn't really hold its form very well as I was making the donut shapes. I would form the donut and then all of a sudden I would look at it a half hour later and it had kind of melted into a puddle onto the table and didn't hold its shape. So I'm pretty sure I should have kneaded and worked this clay for a lot longer before I tried to form permanent shapes. This 4-ounce package of clay gave me 5 balls of roughly equal size. Now these aren't full-size donut sizes. They're kind of a cross between a full-size regular donut and a mini donut. But for a faux donut for a Candyland theme, I think they're totally fine. Now I'm just using my hands to form the donut shape. And the good thing is your hands are your best tools for this. And I'm pretty sure you all know what a donut looks like, so anything you come up with is going to be just fine. And there you go, first donut shape there. It does have some dimples and wrinkles and things. So just smooth those out over time. Now again, I mentioned that I should have worked this clay more. I should have kneaded it a lot more. And because I didn't, I would come back and look at it a half hour later and it would have kind of melted down onto the table into more of a puddle. So I had to reshape these donuts several times over the course of the coming couple of days. As they dried, they kept losing their shape. So I ended up putting a cylinder through the center and then hanging them sideways and rotating them so that they wouldn't droop heavier on one side than the other. But you know, we're going to cover them with icing, so it doesn't really matter, but anyway. So after a couple of days of drying and reshaping now and again, they're ready to paint. So do you see that there's a light stripe around the waistband of the donut and there's more golden on the top and the bottom? That's from the fryer. And then on the double chocolate ones, you can see that they have 2 different colors of brown. So I'm really glad I went to Dunkin' Donuts and did my research. To paint the donuts, I am mixing some white, yellow, and tan paint. And this is the color that I'm going to be using for the waistband. That's a lighter beigey color around the center of the donut. And then for the more golden brown color, I'm using some burnt umber, some orange, and mixing that into the beige that I had already previously mixed to come up with some sort of a golden deep fried color for the top and the bottoms of the donuts. So I'm just going to spread that on here and try to do a thorough job of it. Make sure that you leave some of that side color visible because the donuts float in the fryer and they don't actually get deep fried golden brown on the entirety of the donut. Now I did the tops and then I ran out of paint, so I had to try to remix it and get the same color that I'd had before, which is, for me, impossible. So the tops of the donuts are different colors than the bottoms. Oh well, they're close enough. So a quick coat of paint on the top, what are actually the bottoms, and went pretty smoothly. Now to me it kind of looked a little funny that they had this really different colored stripe around the middle. So I took that brown color and I did some dry brushing around that beige creamy colored stripe just to kind of, I don't know, it was just too glaringly different from the top and the bottom and I thought it didn't really look good. So this dry brushing is my attempt to kind of blend them more together a little bit more smoothly. Of course, you know, It's not perfect. Nothing ever is. After letting those dry for a while, it's time to put the toppings onto the donuts. Now, I had some white and pink paint left over from a different project. This paint is acrylic paint that had been mixed with glossy Mod Podge and white caulk, actually, to make it thicker and to make it hold its shape a little bit. And I didn't really want that bright, bright, bright pink, so I'm mixing the two together to kind of soften the pink a little bit. So again, this is caulk from the home improvement store, glossy Mod Podge, and acrylic craft paint. What I'm hoping for is that I'll be able to put this on as a pink frosting onto the donut, and then it'll hold its shape and look like a real frosting rather than looking more like just a coat of paint. I want it to have some dimension. So I'm just choosing which side of this donut looks the best to be the top. So I decided this was the best. So you can see how thick this is. That's because of the caulk that is mixed in there. Again, it's white caulk from the home improvement store. And I just want it to kind of drizzle on there like a real icing would. Using my craft stick to help it along, to dribble down the sides a little bit like icing does. I found this jar of polymer clay sprinkles. These are not candy sprinkles. They're made out of clay, so they're not edible. And these are in the shape of peppermint rounds. I'm sure that it was a polymer clay cane that had been sliced up into little rounds. And then also has red and white regular plain old sprinkles. And I'm using this to decorate this donut. I think it turned out really cute. Now I have to apologize because apparently I lost the footage of decorating the rest of them. I added a little bit of just plain glitter here and a few more sprinkles. And then for the other four, I did the same method. I mixed caulk, paint, and Mod Podge together to make chocolate toppings. And then I used foam vase filler sprinkles that I got from the Dollar Tree for 2 of them, and just glitter for the others. Now a few days later, I had made 5 more. This time I made them out of Model Magic clay instead of the Creatology clay. And they had already air dried, so here I am again painting that kind of a belt around the middle where that didn't get all the way down into the fryer on 4 of them. But then the 5th one I'm going to actually turn into a double chocolate donut. So for the double chocolate donut, my research at Dunkin' told me that the donut part of it is actually a really deep, dark brown, almost black, compared to the chocolate frosting. So I'm using black acrylic paint here, and then a color called espresso. And I'm mixing those together in roughly equal parts, and it gives me a nice dark chocolate donut color to use to paint my double chocolate donut. And I really love the color that this turned out, and I think in the end it really does look like a double chocolate donut from Dunkin'. Okay, now I need to mix the color for the other donuts that are going to be pretend deep fried. So again, a medium beige with orange and then some yellow in there. Now this deep fried golden color ended up being a little bit more orange than the other batch of donuts that I had, but you know what? When you make donuts at the donut shop, some batches come out darker brown than others. So I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I think it worked out pretty well. Christmas run is the most tired chore. No girl or boy without a toy. So giddy up, Rudolph, my dear. 8 pair of antennas. Now for the first donut decorations, I'm going to use this slick, puffy paint in a color white, and I'm going to pretend that that is a white frosting. I could have mixed Mod Podge and caulk and white paint like I did for the pink, but you know, I had this white puff paint, so why not use it? It works really well and looks just like icing. A quick couple taps on the tabletop lets it kind of settle in and smooth out and even out and looks just like white icing. I bought these clay fake sprinkles off of Amazon and they look really real. These are the little ball kind that you often use for like Christmas decoration for your Christmas cookies. They're like nonpareils, but they're multicolored. They roll all over the place. But they worked really well as fake sprinkles for this donut. Alright, for my next decorations, I'm looking at my pack of puffy paint. I'm trying to figure out what color would be best for the icing of a donut. And I decided green. That would make a perfect color for the icing of a donut. Why not, right? This is all make-believe. Again, tapping this onto the tabletop makes that icing kind of spread out a little bit more evenly and start to drip down the sides, just like I want. I do want to add a little bit more though, just to make it look ample and lovely. Now for this donut, I'm going to use some multicolored rainbow sprinkles. I made these sprinkles out of polymer clay and I was really thrilled when I figured out how to do it. Well, I didn't figure it out. I watched other YouTube channels about how to do it. But I will put up a video very soon about how to make your own fake sprinkles for craft projects like this. It's so fun. Alright, that puff paint has been working really good for me, so I decided, you know what? Red icing on a donut, that works at Christmas time. So, same plan here. And I thought it might be fun to do a little bit of a white drizzle. Again, this is puffy paint, slick puffy paint. I found it was looking a little bit too much like a pizza, in my opinion. So I thought we needed something else. So I went and got my gold vase filler little tiny foam balls. These came from the Dollar Tree, and they look like some gold dragées on the top of this donut. Took away that pizza look, I think. Okay, so I'm going to take some of this DAP fast-drying white caulk. I'm going to put some into a paper cup with some burnt umber acrylic craft paint and stir to get all the lumps out and make sure that that caulk is really well mixed into that paint. And now adding gloss Mod Podge. About equal parts Mod Podge and paint. And then, so it's like 2 parts caulk to 1 part paint and 1 part Mod Podge. And then it's just a matter of dabbing this on like I did the pink donuts earlier. Now I do want to mention that this burnt umber color of the paint will dry darker, but because the Mod Podge is white, it looks a little bit lighter now than it will a little bit later. And what's a donut without toppings? I had some pretend chocolate chips that I had made earlier for a different project, and also some pretend nuts. And so I topped the donut with that, and then I thought, well, it needs a little more. So I put some of those red and white sprinkles on there as well. You know, it's never too much at the holiday season. And here they are. They're still wet, so they're going to dry a little bit, slightly different colors than they are now, but I think they turned out really cute. Altogether, I ended up with 10 pretend donuts to decorate my Candyland theme with. Santa's Bake Shop is going to be looking really cute this year. Thanks so much for joining me on this fun video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're having a wonderful time wherever you are, and I'll see you again in another video real soon.